Hi there, Amandeep. So you've written another set of essays for us. Well done. Let's see what you wrote. The first one is about the pie charts, New South Wales. Let's see what you said. The pie chart illustrates the information about school subject preferences in New South Wales in 2014 and 2017. The data is calibrated into percentages. Don't forget capital N, capital S, capital W. Overall, it can be seen that maths and geography were the, this is awkward, first subject preference, no, in 2014, whereas biology was the most preferable subject in 2017. Okay, you could have said this in a lot of different ways. So math and geography were the most preferred subject, or maths and geography were the most popular lesson, or there are a lot of other ways. Okay, I'll let you think about some other ways that you could have written this. I don't really care for to mark with. It's awkward. We don't use it. So I would just stick to more appropriate IELTS Task 1 language. So to begin, comma, people who lived in New South Wales, no, we don't know that they had great knowledge. Just because they preferred it as a subject, it doesn't mean that they had great knowledge. You can't just assume this, okay? So also don't forget to capitalize these three words. So let's try it one more time. To begin, people who lived in New South Wales preferred studying geography with a percentage of it is 27.7 in 2014, while in 2017 only 18.7% of people liked this subject. Interestingly, IT was the least preferable subject with 1.2, but after 3 years it was liked by 1.4% of people. Furthermore, physics and biology were the popular subjects among students in 2017 as compared to 2014 with 21.2, 24.1 respectively. All right, I don't know what years this is now referring to, if it's 14 or 17. It's not clear the way you wrote it. Surprisingly, chemistry loose. You don't want to say loose. It's not tight, it's loose. I mean, you want to say lost. So L-O-S-T. Its significance in 2017, which was not red, the color. You wrote read the color. No, you want to say R-E-A-D, but also that's not appropriate. We don't say that you read a subject. So let's try this one more time. First of all, it didn't lose its significance. It just wasn't even on the chart at all. So it's as if nobody preferred it. So this sentence is completely inaccurate when you say which was read by only 1% of the people. It wasn't read at all. It wasn't studied by anybody in 2017. It wasn't preferred by anybody. In 2014, it had this percentage. So you're giving us some inaccurate data here. Two words moving further. Moving further, history was preferred by 1.2% of people in 2014. Over the next 3 years, it became the second favorite subject of students with 19.4, whereas an alternative case can be seen by PE. Okay, so obviously we've got some issues with your grammar and your vocabulary. There are multiple errors throughout this. I pretty much had to correct every sentence. So that's something you really have to be aware of, and you really have to work on improving. Apart from that, I don't really understand the organization of this pie chart. So it's like you flip-flop back and forth, like you were talking about 2017 and then 14, 17, 14, and then I don't really get why you organize your data the way you did. I mean, I have seen a lot of different ways to organize this data. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so there are a couple of things that people do. Typically, one way to do this is just analyze what happened in 2014, and then in your next body paragraph, make a comparison. 2017, how it compares to 2014. Now, that's one way. Another way that a lot of people compare this is in the first paragraph, they talk about the subjects that decreased. So typically they start with these big ones, and then they talk about all the subjects that decreased, going from high to low. And then the next paragraph, they talk about the ones that increased. All right, that's another effective way to do this. But the way you did it really didn't make much sense to me at all. I couldn't find any sort of pattern or any sort of kind of thought process regarding the organization. So that's something I really want you to think about as well. Okay, let's take a look at your task 2 now. All right, so now we're going to take a look at your task 2. It's the one about weddings. and spending money on them. So let's see what you said. Celebrations are the most, no they're not, wait, celebrations are the important part of every person's lives. At present, majority of the people spend extravagant money on marriages. The drawbacks outweigh the benefits, which will be discussed in the upcoming paragraphs. All right, well, there's some problems here. Grammatically, there are problems. You're missing words. There's no real link. So let's see what we can do. Celebrations are the let me try that again. Celebrations are the most important part of every person's, apostrophe S, lives. Or life even. At present, the majority of people spend extravagant amounts of money on weddings, not marriages. Marriage is the time period where two people are married and they live together and they're married. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about spending money on weddings. The drawbacks of this trend outweigh the benefits. And then this which, what's this which referring to? The drawbacks or the benefits? It's not clear. The drawbacks outweigh the benefits, and both will be discussed in the following paragraphs. I would much prefer that. Again, with the to embark with, I'm not a fan, so I would change it. So, to begin, spending an extensive amount of money on ceremonies gives happiness to people in such a way that gives happiness to people because the wedding day comes only once in a life and they want to make it a memorable moment for their entire life. You said life right here, so no. Indeed, it provides an opportunity to people to get together and enjoy with family and friends. Okay, moreover, some people do this to show off their status and wealth, such as ministers and businessmen. EN. The problem with this paragraph is I guess, twofold. First of all, there's no development, okay? There's no development. You're basically giving me a list, it feels like, and not really illustrating, not really analyzing, not really providing any real examples. Second of all, you're not explaining to me why money is a factor here. Can't I do all of these things in an inexpensive way? So can't I have a memorable moment and not spend an extravagant amount of money? Can't my family and friends get together but still have an inexpensive wedding? Do you understand what I mean? So you didn't tie in how money is part of this and how all of this is beneficial. So what you've really done is you've explained to me why people do this, why people have weddings, and why they want to celebrate their weddings, but you've never explained to me what are the benefits. You've never explained what the benefits of spending money on a wedding are. That's a totally different thing, okay? So there's definitely a problem with the development here. All right, now let's look at the next paragraph. On the flip side, it compels other people to spend more than relatives for bigger celebrations. Indeed, most of the people take loans from the bank to organize lavish ceremonies. As a result, they fall into debt. Undoubtedly, it destroys their joy for further years. How about for future years? And its detrimental effects can be seen on their lifestyle, in their lifestyle. Furthermore, it should not be neglected that huge investment on weddings is totally a waste, not wastage, of money. You have to tell me why. Instead, affluent, careful with your spelling, people should distribute money among poor people. All right, you really got to develop this. You can't just say something like that. Okay, another drawback of this is spreading dowry system, throwing excessively on marriages. Parties lead to dowry system in such a way that rich people gifts the expensive cars their daughter's marriage, which is not feasible for a poor person. Thus, spending more on ceremonies is a worse thing. Okay, I read this a couple of times and I did not understand it at all. I would just get rid of it. You had more than enough information in your previous paragraphs. Grammatically, it was all over the place. And so, I mean, you had this one sentence here that went into a fourth line, and I did not make any sense out of it. So, it was very problematic. In conclusion, people should save money for future purposes, S, instead of wasting money on receptions and weddings. While some disagree with this, comma, they throw huge, no, you don't throw huge money. They spend great amounts of money to show their status in society. Okay, I didn't see, where did you talk about future purpose? Did you? Yeah, you did. You said future. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. So basically your whole body was about how how bad this is. It looks like. Oh, I guess maybe here you talked a little bit about the positives. Okay. There were clearly a lot of problems. Part of the problem is your grammar. There were a lot of mistakes with grammar, making some areas completely incoherent. And when the grammar is so problematic, it's going to also affect obviously your coherence and cohesion score. So you really have to be careful there. You did you were on topic, so that's the good news, but there were some places where you didn't really quite approach the topic the way you were supposed to. Like in that first body paragraph where you talked about why people essentially do this thing. You never really tied it back into money and how it's beneficial when you spend money on a wedding like this, okay? So some things that I want you to think about. What you need to do now, of course, is correct these and send them back to us. Don't forget about your error correction list and, of course, your next set of essays, okay? Let's meet back here with your next set. Good luck.